In today's video, we're gonna be unboxing this beautiful new Juliana Joplin downcountry bike. And I'm kind of excited to get this bike unboxed and see what parts come on this bike. There's a little disclaimer when you purchase this thing online. It says, due to supply shortages, they can basically change the parts based on what they have available at the time you order it. So let's quit talking, get to unboxing, and by the end of this video, you guys will see this bike unboxed, completely built up, ready to ride, and then I'll give you guys some cool close-up shots of the parts that come on this bike and show you how awesome this thing looks. All right, now that we got this bike put together, it's time to put some air in the shocks. If you guys are new to biking or if you've never done this before, you can see right down here on the Fox fork, it has this little barcode. So what you're gonna do is go ahead, take your phone, hold it up, brings you up to the website, and it's gonna give you a chance to register your fork. And then once when you've gone ahead and registered your fork, you're gonna go down here into the setup, the manual for the fork. This is the 34, it says 32 or 34. Once you get into the manual, you're gonna go ahead and scroll down and find the correct air pressure. It's gonna tell you, and for my wife's weight, it's about 58 to 68 PSI you're gonna wanna set this fork to. So right there, it's already actually on like 58. So it's already pretty much set up. This fork already came with some air in it, so it's already good to go. But what you're gonna wanna do actually is cycle through. When you're pumping a shock up, you're gonna wanna there's two different chambers in the fork. There's an upper chamber and a lower chamber. You wanna make sure you equalize the pressure. Sometimes that'll drop the PSI a little bit. It looks like they already did that on the setup. So we got that fork set up based off of the barcode right there on the Fox website. Sometimes on the rear shock and the pressure, you can see right here the suspension design. This suspension design is specific to this bike, to this frame. So sometimes for the rear shock, you're gonna wanna go onto the website. So on the Juliana website, you can go on there, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it gives you the pressure. So for my wife's weight right there, we're gonna set this at about 135 PSI. All right, and that little cap, talked about not losing that thing back on there. Got the bike built up, got the pressure in the suspension. This thing is looking beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead, show you guys some nice little glam shots of this bike, some close up of all the components. Pretty happy with the way this thing looks out of the box. It pretty much came with all of the components that it said online. I'm happy with the way this Juliana Joplin saddle looks. I think you're gonna like that, babe. This thing's got quite a bit of cushion to it right there. It's got the SRAM NX drivetrain, really good drivetrain for a budget-friendly drivetrain. These aren't gonna be as expensive to replace when you have to replace that rear cassette. Got the Truvient crank. What size are those crank arms on there? 170 mil crank arms. So one little critique based on the size of this bike, 170 mils for the length on that. It could be a little bit shorter. So that may be something we might want to do in the future. But other than that, all the other components are looking pretty good. This bike is definitely ready to ride out of the box, minus throwing some pedals on it. So we're gonna go ahead, get some pedals put on this bike, and pay attention to future videos. We're gonna be doing upgrades. I already got some awesome grips coming for this thing. I got some beefier tires we wanna put on this thing. The train's a lot more rocky where we ride around here, so I'm gonna be hooking her up with some Maxxis tires with just like a little bit more meat on them. If you guys got any other questions, go ahead, leave a comment below. Let us know if there's anything else you guys want to know about this bike, but mostly get stoked, go ride, have some fun, people.